is what we are talking about Iddhipada.
Yes.
Not now, but it means the understanding of the point of what is now to be known. For example, even it's now appearing, it cannot be known. So, Iddhipada, how can it be known? Without any understanding at all, without the intellectual understanding, how can there be a little more understanding the subtlety of what is there now and every moment? That's why it has to understand whatever is there as it is, as not so. But what seems to be now is just everything as something and someone all the time. That's why life is so short. No one can realize the truth, enlighten the truth that Buddha had enlightened, but begin to understand the subtlety, the very profound truth that without understanding little by little about how subtle it is, it's impossible to attain the degree, the understanding of realization of the truth as we have learned a little bit at a time. That's why at this moment, is there any interest to understand the depth of what is there? To be known that it's quite far away, no one can imagine. One just in the midst of blindness, even whatever now seems to be so light and bright, appearing as something all the time. But in truth, the truth of each moment is not that at all. That's why we learn to understand the subtle meaning of the noble truth. It's so true, but it's not as it appears at all. That's why the subtlety is that there must be interest to understand what can be moment of realization of the truth, not just hearing about it, consider about it, but to understand that it's so very, very subtle. That's why without interest to understand the subtlety of what is there as it is, it's impossible for Iddhipada, because it has to be the understanding of the truth, to be interested in understanding what is so very subtle. And this is the only way to attain enlightenment, realizing the truth of what is there now, covered up by ignorance and attachment all the time. That's why interest to understand the subtlety of seeing right now is not that which is seen, and it is conditioned to arise. Even it is moment of birth, it's conditioned to arise and gone each moment, no matter moment of birth or moment of seeing or hearing or whatever. So the great and best trainer or teacher is enlightenment. He knew everything about different accumulation, tendency of the being, no matter in what world. That's why he taught about the truth, to be firmly understood about the truth, that this moment is not anyone or anything at all, just very short term. This moment is not anyone or anything at all. How deep it is. That's why we listen again and again, and it's trained from being careless into being careful, wisely consider the very profound truth of what is there now. No one at all. How come to realize the truth? To be interested in the way to develop, to train oneself from being careless into be careful and wise considering whatever is there heard. No one at all. So it's not enough, because someone and something is always there. That's why hearing again, consider again, and this is the virya, is it, chanda and virya, and chitta is there. Continue on, understanding the path or whatever is there through very little at a time, and it is letting go of trying by thinking that there can be other ways, just intention of so much effort to be such and such from try this way and that way, into just understanding what is there. So keep that, keeps on, not forget or not realize the truth, But it's that as Chitta is itself their condition, their viriya and interest. And right now, on the way, along the way, it needs very careful considering and right understanding has to be there. Otherwise, without right understanding, someone would go to some place, try to understand whatever is not there as now at all. That's why Panya is there as imamsa. No matter what we are going, move on a little bit from this ignorance and the thickness of ignorance and the very sticky ignorance to understand the way, the path, not just try by oneself to break it, but to understand it little by little, by seeing, understanding the very subtle reality right now. Everything gone. And it appears as it is. By right understanding, which gradually letting go the idea of self and ignorance and attachment to this moment or any moment. That's why the Iddhipada is not ordinary daily life, just to go or to do something with viriya, but it's for enlightenment, the truth. Iddhipada, Iddhi, not just going somewhere and buy something, but it's Iddhi, miraculous moment that can experience what is there as it is, as one has confidence firmer and firmer of the truth. So it's not just for something to do, going somewhere, shopping or anything, but it is interest of understanding on understanding what is there now, little by little, with viriya and Chitta keeps on, continue on having such moment, and Panya is there, wisely consider whether this is the only way, before all ignorance and attachment can be moved from this moment. No understanding of what is there. So this life is so precious when it understands the subtlety of realities right now. But it's so true that it can be understood gradually from moment to moment, and right understanding, even in false way, it's developed or accumulated on and on to understand the future reality which appears, not this one because it's gone already. So there must be the Satipatthana and the Iddhipada, see, before there can be the understanding gradually of what is there, as is so very subtle. And this is Panya, which begins to let go the idea of trying to do something, remember something, try to find out the meaning of this and that. But what about it's so subtle? That's why just hearing again and again and again, that's the only way to let go ignorance of that which is now appearing or of that which will be next, on and on. So life goes on as usual, normally, and right understanding develops the understanding of whatever is there by conditions until moment of enlightenment. It means it's just experience what is there now as it is, and what one has firm confidence of the truth of each one as different ones, and only ones in samsara. More interesting than thinking about this, because temporary death is now this moment. So the moment of samadhi, marana, just like that, exactly the same. Are you afraid of this moment as well as death?
Ajahn, the Satipatthana is the starting point to mention about the Iddhipada.
And the point of Iddhipada, to understand this moment, which is so very subtle. Forget about understanding it just right now to the end, but begin to see the subtlety of the truth, that how long will it take to go against the current of ignorance and attachment, accumulated blindness in darkness. Just falling all the time to the pit of ignorance and attachment and darkness. Even it seems so light, everything appears as people and things, but it's so dark, no understanding of the truth. And without the teachings of the truth from the enlightenment, how come from being in the darkness to understand the truth of what is there, which does not appear as dark, but it's so dark because at moment of thought seeing, all are in darkness. But right understand the truth, it has to be there, such moment. It does not appear as now at all day life, seeing things all the time. It seems like no gap and nothing gone at all, but in truth, each moment is gone. Even right now, see the difference between darkness and light, understanding and ignorance, and the truth, the absolute truth. And this is the moment of Iddhipada developed from hearing, considering, not just having Satipatthana right then. Even Satipatthana has to be carefully understood. Because now we just talk about the seeing and that which is seen and so on, because it's there in life each moment. But what about the reality, which is subtle, haven't been talked about so much, because we learn to understand different realities, and now we talk about citta, the chief of experiencing what is there unknown, because what is there appearing is not citta. It's that which is experienced by citta. Keep on learning about one reality at a time, like Vitaka and so on, and Manasikara, see, not in the book, but now beginning to understand that it's not just citta, the reality which is achieved, which is hidden. What are there together this moment can be known little by little, to let go the idea of self, or think that we have learned a lot and we went so far, but in truth, understanding what is the difference between intellectual understanding and that which is direct understanding. No doubt that without the intellectual understanding of what is there now, there cannot be moment of directly being aware and understand the truth that we have learned.
Thank you, Ajahn. So the moment of understanding the reality now is also the development of Iddhipada and Satipatthana, is it right?
From no understanding at all to understand what is there to be realized, to be object of sati, and what is that which can condition right understanding with awareness of what is there now. Be truthful to the truth. And understanding the subtlety develops to let go the idea of self and something all day in life, in years and years ago and ahead. And this is the letting go, unknown. There is doubt about it. But actually, moment of understanding is moment of no ignorance as before. Even from hearing, it begins to understand in darkness what is there as it is. But the eyes doesn't open enough or not open to understand what is there yet. That's why the development of understanding has to develop from the very beginning. That's why the teachings of the Buddha is so very, very beautiful, from the beginning to the middle and the end. All about the truth of this moment, to be known just little by little. But it's there, implanted, see, to begin to understand that the world It's not as it is, as we thought about, as we thought, full of people and things all around, but in truth, it's what we have learned, one reality at a time, to implant the interest and the viriya and the citta and the panya little by little. And without satipatthana, how can there be the Iddhipada? And without the intellect understanding, how can there be the moment of satipatthana, directly understanding what is there? Very gradually, unknowingly, against the current of ignorance and attachment, after moment and moment of seeing, hearing, and so on. And this is the path. See how subtle it is. Understanding from hearing, it's a moment and then it's gone, but it's implanted, enrooted, engraved little by little. So very little comparing to how much is accumulated from eons and countless eons, not understanding what is there, beginning to consider the truth, hearing more, consider more of the truth, even just one word. For example, no one, see, at first moment of hearing, and now it develops very gradually. And the truth is so very subtle. That's why sharing with the others, the best thing in life, the best moment in life, to live, to understand the truth, and share the truth with the other. Because it's so precious. When all the teachings gone, no one can understand what is there and what is the past, leading to understand it gradually from moment to moment.